Most people believe the apple tree is the king of the backyard orchard. It's the tree planted in neat suburban rows, the one printed on seed catalogs, the one people assume every homestead needs. But what if I told you the apple isn't even close to the most productive fruit tree you could plant? In fact, across history, entire civilizations relied on fruit trees that produced more food, tolerated harsher climates, and required far less care. Trees that fed villages through droughts. Trees that thrived where apples struggled. Trees that could quietly produce hundreds of pounds of food year after year. And yet today, almost nobody plants them. Some were forgotten when commercial agriculture standardized orchards. Others disappeared when grocery stores replaced backyard food production. And a few, especially the astonishing trees waiting at number 10 and 11, were simply too productive, too messy, or too independent for modern landscaping culture. But for anyone interested in resilience, self-reliance, and food security, these trees may be some of the smartest things you could ever plant. Let's begin with a tree that grows like it's in a race against time. The mulberry, known to botanists as Times Morris alba Times and Times Morris rubra Times, is one of the most generous fruit trees nature has ever created. Few trees on earth begin producing food as quickly. Some mulberry varieties start fruiting in just 2 or 3 years, a pace that most traditional orchard trees simply cannot match. And once the tree matures, its productivity becomes almost astonishing. A single healthy mulberry tree can produce 30 to 50 pounds of fruit in a single season, sometimes far more. In early American history, mulberries were everywhere. They were planted beside homes, along property lines, and throughout small family orchards. Children would gather beneath the branches to eat the sweet berries fresh from the tree. Families often dried the fruit, turning it into something similar to raisins that could be stored for months. Even farm animals benefited, feeding on the berries that naturally fell to the ground. But over time, the mulberry developed a reputation that modern neighborhoods didn't appreciate. The deep purple berries stained sidewalks, patios, and parked cars. As suburban landscaping shifted toward tidy lawns and decorative trees, many communities quietly removed them. Productivity was sacrificed for cleanliness. Yet for anyone thinking in terms of resilience or long-term food production, the mulberry remains one of the most dependable fruit trees you can plant. It grows quickly, produces heavily, and requires surprisingly little attention once established. Plant it once, give it sunlight and space, and a mulberry tree can continue feeding people for decades. Then there is the jujube, Ziziphus jujuba, a tree that looks almost modest until harvest arrives. Native to northern China and cultivated for over 4,000 years, jujubes thrive where apples fail. Heat, poor soil, drought. The fruit resembles a small date when dried, sweet, and dense with energy. Pioneer farmers once valued jujube for its ability to survive brutal summers without irrigation. Yet it vanished from most American gardens as supermarket fruit replaced backyard diversity. Today, in an era of rising temperatures and water scarcity, the jujube may be one of the smartest trees a homeowner can plant. Next comes the hardy persimmon, Diospyros virginiana, an ancient North American fruit tree that fed indigenous communities and early settlers alike. When ripe, the fruit becomes custard soft and intensely sweet, rich in natural sugars and vitamins. Wild persimmons can produce enormous crops even in neglected soil, but the fruit must ripen fully before eating, something modern grocery distribution couldn't tolerate. So commercial agriculture largely abandoned it. In a backyard orchard, however, patience brings extraordinary reward. The tree asks little and gives much. Then there is the pawpaw, Asimina triloba, perhaps the most mysterious fruit tree native to the United States. Hidden for centuries in forest understories, pawpaws produce tropical-tasting fruit, often compared to banana, mango, and custard combined. Early explorers, including settlers moving westward, relied on pawpaws during long journeys. The trees grow easily in partial shade and produce impressive harvests once mature. Yet their fruit bruises easily and spoils quickly, making them nearly impossible to ship commercially. Grocery stores forgot them. Nature did not. Now consider the fig. Asterisk. Ficus carica. Asterisk. A tree cultivated since ancient Mesopotamia. Figs produce heavily, often twice per season, and tolerate dry conditions that would stress many other fruit trees. A mature fig can yield dozens of pounds annually. In Mediterranean villages, a single tree could supply an entire family with fresh fruit, dried fruit, and winter calories. Yet, in colder parts of North America, people assumed figs couldn't survive. Modern cold-hardy varieties have quietly proven otherwise. With minimal care, figs can become astonishingly productive. The loquat, Areobotria japonica, a subtropical fruit tree that flowers in winter and fruits in spring when almost nothing else is producing. Originating in China and widely grown in Japan, loquats bear clusters of golden fruit rich in vitamin A and antioxidants. Mature trees can yield over 100 pounds in a season. Yet because the fruit bruises easily and has a short shelf life, it never became a supermarket staple. For the home orchardist, that limitation becomes an advantage. The fruit stays local and abundant. Then comes the elderberry. Sambucus canadensis *. Technically a large shrub or small tree, but one of the most productive fruiting plants you can grow. Elderberries were once a cornerstone of rural medicine and nutrition across Europe and North America. The clusters of dark berries are packed with immune-supporting compounds and can be harvested in astonishing quantities. Entire hedgerows were once planted for this purpose. Today, elderberries are returning as people rediscover natural health traditions that modern systems nearly erased. Next is the serviceberry. Amelanchier canadensis *. Sometimes called Juneberry, sometimes called Saskatoon. For centuries, indigenous communities harvested serviceberries as a staple food, drying them for winter and mixing them into preserved meat. The small purple berries taste like a cross between blueberry and almond. The tree is cold-hardy, drought-tolerant, and remarkably productive for its size. But its delicate fruit doesn't ship well, and so commercial farming ignored it. Backyard growers are finally bringing it back. Now we approach the trees most people have truly forgotten. The cornelian cherry, Cornus mas *. Despite the name, it isn't a cherry at all but a dogwood relative, cultivated for thousands of years across Eastern Europe and the Middle East. The tree produces heavy crops of bright red fruit used for jams, syrups, and fermented drinks. What makes it extraordinary is its resilience. It tolerates poor soil, drought, cold winters, and urban pollution. Once established, it can produce reliably for generations. Yet outside traditional regions, few people even know it exists. And that brings us to number 10. The Mulberry Tree, Elaeagnus multiflora *. A plant that feels almost too generous for modern landscaping culture. Gumi fixes nitrogen in the soil, improving the ground around it. It produces heavy clusters of bright red berries rich in lycopene and antioxidants. Birds love it. Pollinators swarm it. And the fruit yield from even a modest bush can be astonishing. But because the plant grows vigorously and spreads easily, it was often overlooked by ornamental nurseries. In a self-reliant garden, however, it becomes a powerhouse. Yet even Gumi may not match the quiet giant waiting at number 11. The chestnut, Castanea mollissima, times and times Castanea dentata *. Before the early 20th century, chestnut trees dominated Eastern American forests. A single mature tree could drop thousands of nuts in a season-high-energy food, rich in complex carbohydrates. Entire rural economies relied on them. Then the chestnut blight arrived and wiped out billions of trees. Within decades, one of the most productive food trees in North America disappeared. Today, disease-resistant varieties are slowly returning. Planting one is more than gardening. It is restoration. Next comes the medlar, Mespilus germanica, a strange fruit tree beloved in medieval Europe but nearly forgotten today. Medlar fruit must soften after harvest before becoming edible, developing a flavor reminiscent of spiced applesauce or dates. Because the fruit looks unusual and ripens slowly, modern markets abandoned it. Yet the tree itself is hardy, compact, and surprisingly productive. In old orchards, medlars often survived centuries. Finally, we arrive at a tree that thrives where many others surrender. The carob, Ceratonia, Siliqua *. Native to the Mediterranean, carob trees evolved in rocky soil and intense drought. Their long pods contain naturally sweet pulp, once used as a chocolate substitute and staple food across dry climates. Mature trees can yield hundreds of pounds of pods each year with almost no irrigation. But because chocolate became globally dominant, carob slowly faded from mainstream agriculture. Yet in a warming world, its drought tolerance may prove invaluable.